Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another BBB conversation. Today, we are really excited to have Matt Kennedy on from Empire State Development. He is with the Small Business and Technology Development Division. Empire State Development, huge organization, good organization for businesses in New York State. So Matt, let's just start with, what do you guys, we know you guys are economic development, but what do you do for small businesses?
Okay. Well, like to give a little background on Empire State Development so you have an idea as to what we do. So Empire State Development is the New York State Agency for Economic Development, which actually consists of two different parts. There's a public benefit corporation and there's a state agency that operate together as Empire State Development. You probably hear the name. It covers everything from I Love New York tourism to regional developments to major capital projects like the Mario Cuomo Bridge or the Javits reconstruction. I'm actually in the Small Business and Technology Development Division, which is a separate division that's specifically aimed at businesses with fewer than 100 employees. So there are actually a total of 12 ESD offices around the state. There are regional offices in each of the economic development regions, and there are two statewide offices. I'm based out of the statewide office in Albany. So the Small Business Division, so we specifically have programs for businesses with 100 and fewer employees, and they pretty much can be broken down into four categories. There's the capital access programs, which are lending programs, usually indirect lending through lenders that have signed up to be parts of the program. There's our technical assistance programs, which are things like the New York State Contract Reporter, which is important, Business Mentor New York, which is an online mentoring platform, and the Entrepreneurship Assistance Centers, which are different centers around the state to help entrepreneurs with business plans and boot camps and things like that. There's NYSTAR, which is our division of science and technology. NYSTAR is primarily academia-based. A lot of programs for colleges, for commercializing new technologies, things that have been developed in New York State. There are centers of excellence and incubators and hotspots and so forth for NYSTAR. And then there's also New York State Ventures, which is the newest part of our organization or our group that is actually speeds funds. It's a seed funding, venture funding works very close with NYSTAR for helping commercialize those products. So I particularly cover the access to capital programs myself, along with some of the technical assistance programs. So I'm usually out in the trenches. If there's going to be a show someplace, chances are the person you're going to see is me representing the Capital District or outside the Capital District for small business.
It's really interesting because a lot of people, don't realize how much you guys do. And it sounds like not only are you helping businesses of all sizes, you're also helping to nurture the next economy going forward. But we'd be remiss if we didn't mention, obviously the ongoing pandemic with COVID-19. Right. We know that the New York Forward has been helpful to a lot of businesses. So let's talk a little bit more about that and what businesses can do to get some assistance from your organization.
Okay. Well, like you said, our biggest component of our COVID response for the Small Business Division has been the New York Forward Loan Fund. New York Forward Loan Fund is specifically a fund for working capital for businesses with 20 or fewer employees with annual revenues of less than $3 million. And the idea was that there were a lot of organizations that couldn't take advantage of some of the larger federal programs that still needed assistance, that we designed this program to work with a group of small CDFIs, which are community development financial institutions around the state. They're alternative lenders, essentially, to help get money out, to help businesses recover from COVID. The biggest caveat I would add to the program is that to qualify for the program, again, you have to have 20 or fewer employees, and you cannot have received an economic injury disaster loan or a paycheck protection program loan greater than $50,000. So as long as your business fits in that category, you can go online to apply. There's a website that's www.nyloanfund.com where you complete a pre-application. You go through, answer about 15 very quick questions, probably take 5 minutes to complete. And then what happens is that the site, based upon your location and the answers to your questions, automatically matches you to the best lender. It's part of the program. That lender receives your information and they begin the process with you to try to get your money. So it's got quite a lot of money left in it still, even now. So there's still the opportunity. The fund is in excess of $100 million. So this is a very interesting new type of program that we're trying to do, because the funding doesn't come entirely from the state even. There are 15 different organizations, 12 or 15 organizations. I think it's actually 12 organizations at this moment that have put money into the fund to lend. So in addition, as part of the New York Forward Loan Fund, and as part of helping people get the documentation they need together for these types of programs, for the Paycheck Protection Program, along with the New York Forward Loan Fund, we've given extra funding to our entrepreneurial assistance centers around the state, along with SBDCs, the SBDCs that are typically on SUNY campuses. They can also help offer technical assistance to complete these applications. We have our Business Mentor New York, which is a program that started actually with Superstorm Sandy, with another disaster, that is intended, it's essentially an online clearinghouse where people can match, an entrepreneur can match with a mentor that is a volunteer from the community to try to help guide them, essentially a successful business trying to guide a business that needs assistance. And then there's also something else brand new, the Empire State Digital Initiative, which is the first time we've ever tried anything like this. In fact, it's the first program of its type in the country, where we've set up a partnership with Square, Shopify, Etsy, and Square Bank in order to try to help small businesses transition to the digital world, where they can start taking online orders, sell their wares on websites, be able to process things over the phone, things like that, to try to transition to the next phase in business. And that's primarily what we're doing for COVID-19, at least at this moment. There are other programs actually in the works that aren't announced yet.
That's one of the things that, for our organization, most of our member base is under 20 employees. What we found when we had the SBA on a few weeks ago was that a lot of them didn't apply for any of the federal assistance. So if they are searching for something, this is definitely something they can look into. And one of the biggest questions we get from our accredited businesses is, how do I take my business online? So that's a really great initiative that you guys have started. We mentioned the contract reporter earlier. Not a lot of businesses know that they can do business with New York State. So why don't you explain that real quick?
Yeah, actually, one of the primary things that we do as a technical assistance program is the New York State Contract Reporter. The New York State Contract Reporter is an online portal at www.nyscr.ny.gov. So that's New York State Contract Reporter.ny.gov. New York State, when it procures anything that's greater than $50,000, which obviously the state procures a lot of resources, buys a lot of things, it's mandated that all agencies, all authorities post these requests, these contract requests, on the New York State Contract Reporter. It's free to the public. It's free to any small business. You can go onto the Contract Reporter, create an account. It explains what your business does. It's very simple. You can set up a little public profile. You can keep your profile private if you want to. But what it will do is you can go into this database and you can look for new opportunities. And typically there's a couple hundred opportunities a day, new ones that appear on this site. And each of these opportunities is going to have a complete breakdown as to what you need to do, where you need to submit it, where you can ask questions. It's a complete package. This is where GDAs get posted, even when we are giving out money to organizations. Like we talked about when we were giving out money to COVID for the Empire Entrepreneurship Assistance Centers. Those organizations, that even gets posted on the Contract Reporter when we're going to do that. So it's a great place to look. And it's totally, completely free. And there is a procurement assistance helpline that goes along with it. And what I will definitely mention is that if you are an MWBE, if you are a New York State certified MWBE, you might already know this, but New York State certified MWBEs, the state has mandated that 30% of the state's spending, 30% of the state's allocation of money is going to go towards state certified MWBEs. So if you have a small business and you're an MWBE and you offer a service, let's say you're a painter or you're a carpenter, it's a great place to go on and put a profile. Put your profile up on the contract reporter, because when agencies and authorities are looking for a way to meet that goal, they can find you that way. So it's a great place to start, and it is totally free. You can even set up alerts so that when new things get posted that fit inside your wheelhouse, what you're looking for, it sends the alerts out automatically. Be warned, it sends them out in the middle of the night when the site updates at like 3 o'clock in the morning. So if you do post yourself, if you send it to your cell phone, remember it's probably going to ding at 3 o'clock in the morning from the contract reporter. But that's the contract reporter, and so it's a great service, and it is the cornerstone of New York State procurement.
No, that is terrific. Like I said, a lot of people might not know about that, especially the MWBE businesses. That is just huge for them. So that's terrific. We're almost out of time, so just wanted to, real quick. There's a lot of different places people go for information. We're going to list all the website or all these websites on our page that has this video on it. But outside of COVID, we're hoping that the pandemic ends at some point. There are other resource programs as well. Do you want to go into just a few of those real quick?
Yeah, there are. I mean, understand that even after COVID's long over, there are lots of programs that still exist, that have existed, some of them for decades, that can help businesses expand in New York State. There's a couple really big ones to touch on very quickly. The Link Deposit Program is a program that runs through about 70 different lenders around the state. Most of the major upstate banks, banks like M&T and NBT and so on and so forth, that are part of this program, where you can get a reduced interest rate. You can get an interest rate reduction on your regular business loan if you're buying something for expansion. If you're a manufacturing business, or if you're a service-based business, or if you happen to be in a distressed census tract in New York State. That's a great program, because it's a program that a lot of people don't realize exists, and a lot of small businesses already have relationships with these banks and just don't realize the program is there. So mention the Link Deposit Program to your bank, see if they're part of it. The next time you're going to borrow money to buy a dump truck, you can go on to you can go to to your lender and ask them, and you'd be surprised. Almost all the upstate lenders are part of the program, and it can be a reduction of up to 2 to 3% in interest, depending on the prevailing interest rates and what their 4-year CD rate is. So that's a great thing to look at. And one other thing that I will point out is, so we do have lots of different access to capital programs. There's a great one, especially for Central New York and the Southern Tier. We have one called the JDA Agricultural Loan Fund. The JDA Agricultural Loan Fund runs through 8 different agriculture-based small lenders around the state, and there's more information for this on our website. But this is a great source of income, and it's specifically for agribusinesses. But it's not just about growing food. So it could be, if you are a cannery and you're looking to expand your canning line, you can get money for things like that. If you're even a brew pub, because brewery will qualify. So that is a new angle to look at. They have very reasonable interest rates, and there's money available in the program. So I would definitely check out our website, which is esd.ny.gov, and go to the Doing Business in New York State, in the Small Business Division. It'll have a complete breakdown of all these different programs.
That's terrific. Again, it's esd.ny.gov.
Yes.
For these programs.
Yes.
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that thanks to Center State CEO and the Upstate Minority Economic Alliance for bringing Matt and I together during a networking event.
That's right.
Great community partner of ours is Center State CEO. So we were thrilled to be able to take our conversation that we had and bring it to you, because it's like one of those moments where, Matt says, oh, we have a program for this, or you could, save interest, a couple of points of interest could save you thousands of dollars. So it's really good. It's really something that everybody should look into.
Absolutely. And like I said, if you're interested in New York State procurement, remember, New York State procures practically everything you can think of. So that's a great place to look for information to, as the state goes to recover, as we all recover, it's a great place to expand your business, to look for new avenues. A lot of people need to pivot. We're going to need to pivot. The economy is going to change a bit. And it's a great place to try to look to see if you can pivot that direction. So,
Excellent. Well, Matt, thank you so much for your time today.
sure. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it very much.